Hello, Deidre. Hello, Kathy. Hi, Debbie. Well, I'm about 60 seconds early. I just wanted to test all of my links. So thank you for being here. Thanks for telling me where you're from. Let's see. Oh, Nancy is from Wisconsin. We've got Carolyn. I don't know how many people are going to show up today because I think so many people are busy with all kinds of holiday activities. And so I'm really delighted to see each of you here today. Um, Barbara, Patty, Cindy, Kelly, Ginger. Oh, Deidre's from North Carolina. Yep. Cindy's from Iowa. Let's see. Yep. Paula. Yep. Anna Lou, am I pronouncing your name correct? Anna Lou from Puerto Rico. Welcome, everybody. We've got Julie from Canada. And it is noon right now. So hopefully more people will show up. We've got Wanda from Georgia. And yes, I'm here in the Chicago area. I'm back in the office. I've had, wow, what a whirlwind it's been. Oh, Paula says she never misses my show. So thank you, Paula. Let's see. Okay, Teresa, I see your question and I'm going to try to answer that shortly. So yeah, last week I was in Texas. I was in Quitman, Texas for Stitch in Heaven Sewing Expo. I don't know if any of you were there, but wow, it was a lot of fun. And Quitman's about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes east of Dallas. And wow, what a huge event it was. They've got a 17,000 plus square foot warehouse, and there were vendors set up there, and there were ongoing classes. Rob Appel was there. There was quilting classes, lectures, Moda Fabrics there was, etc. And I gave my last two lectures, SCHMETZ lectures for 2023. So the guys in the office, they actually counted up all of my presentations since the pandemic, and I'm at 342. So 342 SCHMETZ presentations since 2020. So I'm delighted with that. So last month, I was in Houston at the last SCHMETZ Snippet Live, and I had about 6 different guests, and I hope you enjoyed that. We learned all about different kinds of sewing with and our guests with different activities and books, etc. Our winner last month was Babette from Louisiana. And Babette, who won the SCHMETZ giveaway, says, wow, I hardly win anything. So she was excited to win the SCHMETZ Snippet giveaway. And she thanks everybody, all the companies that contributed to the giveaway. So at this presentation, yes, I have a wonderful giveaway. If you are on Facebook or Instagram, you saw a picture of the giveaway. And in order to win today's giveaway, you need to answer a question. And I'm going to give the question out early today. My question is to be considered in the drawing for today's drawing is, what gift giving ideas do you have for your sewing friends or yourself? Because isn't that what happens sometimes? We go to shopping, we find gifts for friends, but then we end up buying a little gift or two for ourselves. So what are some gift-giving ideas that you have for your sewing friends or yourself? So post your answers. There's no right or wrong answer, but that will enter you into today's drawing. So also, since I last saw you, not only was I at International Quilt Market and Festival, and yes, I gave a 3-hour hands-on class in Houston, so that went well, but I also went on a personal sewing retreat with my friends Rita Farrell, Mary Malari, and Deanna Springer. And you know what? I thought, let me just show you a couple of the little things that I made. I think I did like a dozen different projects. But I wanted something really quick and easy to get started with. And how many of you have inherited or have made or have collected vintage hankies? or handkerchiefs. And oh, Pam's here from, I think that is Pam, I'm guessing, is on YouTube. So fantastic. So I have, for many years, I had a great big bag of vintage hankies that my grandmother had collected. And I finally got to it and thought, what can I do with these? So what I did was I created little pouches or little bags using vintage doilies. Oh, let's see, this is yellow, so maybe you can't kind of see, but I took two doilies. This is a yellow one and a green one, and you can see how dainty the handwork is. And so I created a little envelope. And what I'm going to do is when I go home to see my dad and all my cousins, I'm going to slip little candies in the little pouch here. And for some of my sewing friends, I'm including a pack of needles. So I actually did about, well, actually it was over 30 little pouches where I married up two different hankies. I either followed, I either made a square, or I actually, on this one here, I actually followed, oh, here, let me turn it around this way. I actually followed the design, the border design. So it's kind of a triangular shaped pouch here. So I will fill those with needles. Here's a real pretty one. Here's a doily, two doilies. So I tried to put the pretty work on the front, and then on the flap, it opens up, and then I can put candies or SCHMETZ needles in here. So let me show you. This is my favorite one. Isn't this pretty? It's a nice starched linen. I didn't do anything to them. It's got the hand crochet right here, the beautiful handwork, and then I've got the little the pouch there. So I'm thinking like this you could put in your suitcase with maybe some lingerie, etc. But everybody loves candy, right? Let's see. So I did over 30 of these. This is a pretty one. This one says mother. And it's got the crochet, and again, a little pouch here in the middle. So if any of my cousins are watching, guess what you're getting for Christmas? Yeah, so all kinds of designs. It was really fun to go through, because what do you don't want to just keep them piled up in the closet, which like mine, but I hope that there'll be sentimental value on these, I think, because they belong to grandma. So anyway, I just wanted to share those. I did some garments too, and actually I think I finished about 8 different projects. So gosh, so I thought I had all of grandma's doilies. And then I was talking to my Aunt Monica earlier in the week, and she goes, "Oh, Rhonda," she goes, "I have even more." So I guess I'll be stitching even more doilies in the future. All right, so let's see what kind of ideas. Blades for the rotary cutter is an idea. Yes, for your sewing friends or yourself. Rulers, chocolate, wine. Anna Lou says storage boxes. Gosh, it looks like we've all got sewing projects to do. Rebecca says it's a great way to use heirloom pieces in a way to keep them in the family. Absolutely. Seam rippers is an idea. Okay. So let's talk about some ideas for SCHMETZ for your sewing buddies or yourself. And we've got these wonderful little pillows here with the SCHMETZ ABC Pocket Guide. And this is the Learn to Sew needle collection. So you've got a variety of needles in here. Maybe if you're giving a sewing machine away as a gift, or maybe you're receiving a sewing machine as a gift, this is a great little sampler pack to start out with, because you've got universal needles in assorted sizes. You've got jeans, microtex, quilting, etc. etc. So all kinds of needles in here, plus the super nonstick. And then it's got a little mini grab it, in one of 3 different colors. Could be red, could be blue, or the yellow. The other gift idea that we have for you is this, using the same SCHMETZ ABC pocket guide. We have the SCHMETZ bulk needle. So I'm calling this the power sewing bundle, because if you like universal size 90, that's what's in this little bulk package here. There's 100 SCHMETZ bulk needles in here. So a great way to always have a SCHMETZ needle handy, even at 1 o'clock in the morning. This little bundle also comes with a mini grab it in either yellow, red, or blue. So these you'll find over on the website. I think some of those little SCHMETZ blue bags are still available too, like there was an heirloom one, so you can, and a sewing with knits, so you can keep that in mind. So we're just going to jump right in. So I was so pleased that people asked questions on the posted questions on Facebook. So I printed those out this morning, and let me just get right into it. So, Anita says she's been seeing Franken shirts on our SCHMETZ needle Facebook page. What is Franken shirts? What is Franken sewing? Well, many of you know that on weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, my friend and colleague Rita Farrow does the fun posts on Facebook and Instagram, and she's really into Franken sewing. So, what's Franken sewing? Well, we even on our personal retreat, we went thrifting, and we bought a variety of dresses, tops, coats, etc. And then we recreate them to our size, and we embellish with our own threads and designer stitches, etc. So Franken sewing is taking garments and cutting up maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different garments and creating one outstanding outfit. So Franken sewing that Rita was doing, she would take maybe 3 or 4 different flannel shirts. She'd use the sleeve from one shirt. Maybe she'd have the front, 2 different fronts from 2 different shirts. Maybe she adds knit fringe. So lots of creative sewing so that you can really stand out with your sewing buddies. So you'll see Rita's Franken sewing on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And I see that she also posted this morning that she was on the Paula Sands show, which is her local TV dealer. And she was showing some of her samples that she made during our retreat. And I think her sister was there too. She had actually taken the sleeves from a sequin dress and created it, completely reworked the dress into a velvet dress with sequin sleeves. So if you're looking for some unusual sewing inspiration, go over to Facebook and you can check that out. Okay, so Anita, I hope that answered your Franken shirts. And you know what? You asked if there was a group, and I'm thinking, wow, maybe we should create a Franken sewing group. But meanwhile, just go over to Facebook, SCHMETZ Needles Facebook, and you'll find more examples of Franken sewing on the weekend. Let's see. Hooked on Sewing asked, when should I switch needles when installing a zipper? And you know, that's really personal preference, and there is no police as to when you should, what needle type or size of needle you should use. If you're installing a zipper, let's say on denim, then I would suggest that you use probably a denim needle, because you're probably working with a heavier weight thread and zipper, and you're going through that heavier weight fabric. So if you're using a universal needle, you know what? Continue to use that universal needle on your on the installation of your project. And Victoria also asked about replacing zippers on winter jackets. And I say, kudos to you. for replacing zippers. Yeah, I just don't have the desire to do that, but I know that a lot of people do replace zippers. So universal would be a possibility. The jeans needle would be another possibility too. If you're working with a knit fabric, then you might want to test either a jersey or a stretch. So with SCHMETZ, you do have options. Carolyn was asking, what's the best type of needles for sewing and embroidery projects? So again, with SCHMETZ, you've always got options. And for embroidery, I will just point out that we do have a machine embroidery collection. Oh, here we are. Some machine embroidery needles already bundled up over at SCHMETZneedles.com. To find those, you at the top of SCHMETZneedles.com, you could click bundle, and you'll see a drop down with lots of different bundles. The one for machine embroidery specifically has your traditional machine embroidery needle. It also has the titanium embroidery needle. I always refer to it as the SCHMETZ gold needle. These two needles, the classic embroidery and the titanium embroidery, come in the two sizes, 7511 and the 9014. The other option that you've got for machine embroidery is also the super nonstick needle, the super nonstick. And if you're not familiar with that needle, you see it's kind of a different color. It's kind of a charcoal gray or gunmetal color, and that's the anti-adhesive coating. So oftentimes when we're working with sticky stabilizers or fusibles with our machine for machine embroidery, that stabilizer has a tendency to gum up our needle. So the super nonstick will resist the stabilizer from gumming up your needle, so you'll get more sewing time. So this is the machine embroidery bundle, and you will find that over at SCHMETZneedles.com. It comes with the handy little color chart luggage tag and the handy ABC pocket guide. So let's see, that was Carolyn who asked about machine embroidery and also sewing. For regular sewing, wow, there's so many different options. Of course, the universal needle is the workhorse of all needle types. So no matter what kind of sewing you have, I always suggest that you have universal size 80-12 and 90-14 in your stash. If you're interested in a little sampler of needle types and sizes, there is an expanded bundle of needles, and I'll just show this here. All of these cards you can buy as single cards at your local sewing machine dealer or quilt shop. You can also find these bundled up over at SCHMETZneedles.com. So on this expanded bundle right here, we've got 8 cards of needles, and they're assorted needles. We've got a 9 and 10 needle costume pack, and don't let that costume name trip you up. Really, these needles can be used for all kinds of sewing because you've got the universal needle, you've got the jeans needle, there's a twin needle, stretch, etc. In this expanded bundle, we also have sewing with knits. So this one here has both jersey and stretch needles, so you can sample both. This one here are for some of your smaller crafts, especially for when you're sewing with felt. So this needle pack here has the super nonstick, the jeans, and universal needles. We've got the home deck and upholstery needle pack. And in here, you've got the jeans, top stitch, and universal. We've got needles for piecing and for quilting. So in this pack here, you've got the Microtex and the quilting needles. For sewing on fleece, you've got the stretch needle in sizes 75-11 and 90-14. And last but not least, we've got a package labeled vinyl needles. Now, the needles aren't actually vinyl, but all of these needles that I've just shown you are project driven. So for vinyl needles, you're going to use this needle for vinyl. You can use it for machine embroidery, machine applique, etc. This is the super non-stick, super universal needle in assorted sizes. So you've got sizes 70, 80, 90, and 100. So this is a really great expanded version bundle. It comes with this ABC with the luggage tag, and it also comes with the handy ABC pocket guide. So if you're new to sewing, it's a great bundle to experiment with. So, whew, wow, that was a lot of talking. Okay, so Carolyn, I hope I answered your question for sewing and embroidery needles. Stephanie is asking for sewing tips with, or what needle to use when sewing on denim. Well, we do have a needle called denim, also known as the jeans needle. So this is what I would use when you're working with denim or jeans, or maybe you're working with a lot of thick layers. Maybe you're working on a raggy quilt. The jeans needle would be a really great needle choice. So what's so special about the jeans needle? The jeans needle has a reinforced blade. A reinforced blade so that when the needle passes through your heavier fabric and the throat plate, there's less needle deflection, less movement of the needle when the stitch is created. So the jeans needle is a great choice when you're working with denim. Maybe you're making flannel quilts or those heavy duty raggy quilts. So Stephanie, I hope that answers your question. And let's see, Jana also asked about sewing on jeans. She found some cotton thread at the thrift store, and she wants to top stitch on jeans. So, what needle type and size should she use? Well, first of all, if you buy your thread at a thrift store, I want to be cautious about that because unlike needles, thread will deteriorate after a few years. So kind of test your thread. If you're having problems with the thread breaking or shredding, either you need to move up a needle size or use a needle with a larger eye, or maybe it's just the thread has actually deteriorated. So for sewing on denim with top stitching thread, I would use that denim needle, and you're going to need at least a size 90, maybe even a size 100 or 110. So again, it's kind of a dance between your thread, your fabric, and the needle. And sometimes you have to test. So the jeans needle certainly should be up to the task. If your thread is breaking or shredding, then I would move up a needle size. So let's say you started with size 90, then I would go up to a size 100. And if it's still breaking or shredding, I would move up another needle size. So you're going to have to just experiment a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with experimenting. So give that a try. Michelle is asking what needle to use for machine embroidery, and I kind of touched upon that. So machine embroidery, you've got your regular machine embroidery needle, you've got the SCHMETZ gold needle, and you've got that super nonstick needle. And some other choices that you might consider would be a top stitch needle. Or the microtex. So again, it depends on the fineness of your thread or the thickness of your thread and the types of fabrics that you're going to be sewing on. One of the questions, Michelle, and let's see, I think there was, and Tammy. Yeah, Tammy and Evelyn were asking about metallics, and 'tis the season for a little sparkle, right? Well, I think every day is a day for sparkle. But if you're working with metallic threads, what needle should you use? And I would definitely use either the metallic needle or a top stitch needle. What's so special about the metallic and the top stitch? Both of these needles have an elongated eye. So there's less stress on your thread as it's passing through the eye of the needle. So again, if you're working with metallic threads, you want to use either the metallic or top stitch needles. But here I want to give you some inside information. The top stitch and the metallic needles are the very same needle, just two different names. So if you're sewing with metallic thread, and you don't have a metallic needle, but you've got a top stitch, use that top stitch. It's the very same needle as the metallic. So that's what I would suggest when you're sewing with your metallic thread. So good question. Lots of metallics are being threads are being used. Oh, let's see. Andrea asked about sewing through thick projects like cozy bowl, the bowl cozies. Bowl cozies are oftentimes layered fabrics with some batting in between, or flannel fabrics with batting. And then it's usually square, about this size, the size of a bowl. It's like a nesting bowl for your soup bowl that you put in the microwave, and it's too hot when you take it out. So you can put your soup bowl in the microwave and heat it, and then pick it up from the soup bowl nest. Or when you take the hot bowl of soup out of the microwave, you put it on your little soup bowl cozy to protect your table surface. So yeah, the jeans needle would be a good choice for that, again, because you're going through so many different layers. Again, experiment with the different needle sizes, anywhere from size 90 to 100 to 110, size 110. It's going to depend, again, on the weight of your thread and all the thicknesses that you have. So again, that jeans needle has that reinforced blade to go through all your thicknesses. All right, let's see. Diana was asking about quilting on her home machine. Yeah, absolutely. You can quilt on your home sewing machine. What needle do you use? Well, what's your favorite needle? Lots of people like to use the universal needle, but again, I like to say with SCHMETZ, you have options. So the jeans needle might be a possibility for you, again, especially if some of your fabrics are really heavy or coarse, that jeans needle might be a good choice. You could use a top stitch needle, because that top stitch needle has an elongated eye, so there's less stress on your thread as it's passing through the eye of the needle. Of course, you could use the quilting needle. Now, the quilting needle comes in two sizes. So the smaller size, 7511, you'd probably use for the piecing of your project. But the larger quilting, size 9014, would be a really good needle selection for the quilting of your project. And then one other needle choice for quilting on your machine would be the Microtex needle. And the Microtex needle is generically known as a sharp needle. So you could maybe use a size 80 for the quilting of your project. If it's a Microtex 80, you might have to go up to a Microtex size 9014. So sometimes you just have to test. So these needles, you can buy all of the needles at your local sewing machine dealer or quilt shop. And over at SCHMETZ Needles, we do have a bundle called Piecing and Quilting. So you've got the universal, the jeans, the top stitch, the quilting, and the Microtex. So it's a great way to sample. And even when you're piecing, let's say Microtex 8012 is your favorite needle for either piecing or for quilting. Sometimes our fabrics vary between the different projects, and so do the threads. So sometimes you have to make adjustments. So don't be afraid to change out the needle size or even the needle type. So again, these are already bundled up over on SCHMETZneedles.com, 5 packs of needles, 5 different needle types, and it comes with the luggage tag and the ABC pocket guide. So you can keep that in mind. All right. Karen was asking about cut work needles. And you know what? We SCHMETZ does not have cut work needles, so those you're going to have to find probably from the sewing machine company itself. So if you've got a Bernina or a Janome or a Brother, I would contact them for the actual cutting needles for cut work. Also, when you do cut work or you're working with lace or you're doing lace work, the hem stitch needle is a fun needle to use. The hem stitch, do I have one? Oh, I don't have one right here. But the hem stitch is oftentimes used with your edge lace work. So give that a try. Dee was asking about sewing with furry fleece. Furry fleece. Well, you know what? It just so happens I have some furry fleece right here. This is part of today's giveaway. This is the SCHMETZ, the Shannon Cuddle fabric, and I've got a really nice bundle here to give away. So with the Cuddle fabric, with Minky, and with your plush fabrics that have some stretch, you want the stretch size 90-14 needle. If you've been afraid to sew with Minky or Cuddle fabric, you know what? This needle is going to make a huge difference in your sewing quality. When you're sewing with Minky or Cuddle, the fabric oftentimes has a tendency to shift. So you need to be aggressive in your pinning. When I pin with Cuddle fabric, my pins usually go parallel to the stitching line and also perpendicular. So there's not a lot of movement when I come through with my sewing foot and the needle. And the stretch needle 90-14 makes a huge difference in controlling your stitches. So again, if you're working with Cuddle, with Minky, or those stretch plush fabrics, and 'tis the season if you live in winter weather, right? That needle will make a difference. Let's see, I think there was one other person who, who was it? Oh gosh, I don't have maybe it was Marie. I think it was Marie. Marie was asking about sewing with faux fur. So yeah, that stretch 90-14 is a great needle to use. Okay, let's scoot along. Carolyn is asking, do some fabrics wear the needles out faster? And specifically, she was asking about flannel versus cotton, quilting cotton. And yeah, it is true that the fabric will wear different, or that the longevity of your needle point does vary according to the different fabrics that you're sewing with. So how long does a needle last? I don't know. 3 seconds if you hit a pin, 20 hours if you're not a very aggressive sewer. People like to say 6 to 8 hours of sewing time. But when you're sewing, what I really like you to do is reframe that question to what are the clues to changing out your needle? So when you're sewing, what are the clues to changing out the needle? And if you've been with me before, I'm sure you know these clues, and I'm happy to walk you through them. One of the clues that your needle is dull is when your thread is breaking and shredding. Yeah, when your thread is breaking and shredding, it means that you need to change the needle. What you may not know is if you're not changing your needle frequently enough, the thread will actually create a groove in the eye of the needle. And that's not a good thing. A groove in the eye of the needle, what's it going to do? Break and shred your thread. So what are you going to do? Change out your needle. When you're sewing, what's happening to your fabric? Is your fabric puckering? Is it snagging? Or in a really bad case, the needle actually tucks the fabric into your throat plate. So hello, your needle is dull. So what are you going to do? Change out the needle. Maybe what about your stitch quality? Are your seams uneven? Are your stitches skipping? Or maybe in a really bad case, you're sitting at your machine saying, well, I'm sewing in a straight line. How come my stitches look kind of wiggly squiggly? Well, guess what? Your needle is dull and you need to change out the needle. And there's one other clue to changing out the needle. And hopefully, when you're sewing, you're in that bubble, right? And your machine is humming along. And then you start to hear that little click, click, clicking sound. What is it? It's your needle saying, hey, I've been working hard here, change me. If you ignore the clicking sound, it graduates to a pop, pop, popping sound. Now it's yelling at you, change me, change me. If you ignore the clicking and the popping, what's happening now? Your machine is going clunk, clunk, clunk. So what are you going to do? Change out your needle. So needles do not last forever. So you need to change them out. You need to have a little stash of needles so at 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you can just change out that needle and continue with your work. So really, I want you to have a wonderful sewing experience, and that includes changing out the needle. So yep, needles don't last forever. Okay, let me see. Sherry says that she didn't have a question, but she just said that SCHMETZ is by far her favorite needle of choice. She never has a problem. So thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. Marie is working, she's creating a thick binding on a quilted project. The fabric is heavier than her usual quilting fabric. She'll be using a walking foot, and she's wondering what needle should she use. So since you're working with so many layers and it's extra thick, either a larger universal needle, maybe at least a size 90 or 100, or a denim needle. So again, that denim needle has that reinforced blade. So you're going to kind of have to experiment with the needle size, at least a size 90-14. If you don't get the stitch that you expect, then move up to a size 100. 110, I don't know if that will work for you. You're just going to have to experiment, but either a universal or a jeans needle should work just fine. You're going to have to test for the size. So like for myself, how do I know? How do I determine what needle size to use? So when I sew, I keep in mind my formula is if I'm working with an everyday thread, which is generally a 40 weight thread, I use a size 80-12 needle, an 80-12 needle with an everyday 40 weight thread. If I'm working with a heavier weight thread, now I know I need to use a larger needle size. So I need something larger than a size 80-12. So I'll move up to a size 90-14 or larger. So again, my baseline is an 80-12 needle with a 40 weight thread. If I'm going to be working with a finer thread, then I know I need to go down to a 75 or size 70. So I hope that helps you determine the size. There are no right or wrong answers, but some answers will give you better and easier results. Again, a 40 weight thread, I generally use a size 80-12 needle, and then I adjust my formula accordingly. Okay, Jane is working with superfine fabrics, Swiss batiks and silks. She works on a Bernina machine. You know what? SCHMETZ works with all the different sewing machine manufacturers, so that is really fantastic. So, oh gosh, I thought oh, here, hold on. Well, oh, here, maybe this is it. There is a new needle that's out that is called the Black Superfine Needle. Black Superfine Needle. Maybe do I have a picture of it here? If you get my newsletter, there was a picture in the newsletter, I think. Oh, it must have been the last one. Black Superfine. And that black needle has that anti-adhesive coating. So it's going to resist any of the fusibles or spray adhesives that you use maybe when you're doing machine embroidery, or maybe you're putting a hem in a dress or a garment. The super fine is available in just that one size 70. So that could be a choice for you. Also, the microtex needle. The microtex needle is a great needle choice when you're working with really super fine fabrics. Here's the microtex needle. The generic name for a microtex is a sharp needle. The microtex has a very slim, acute point, very slim, acute point, so you get really clean, precise stitches. So Jane, I would suggest for your super fine fabrics and Swiss batiste, etc., to use a microtex, or get your hands on that new black super fine needle. I think you'll enjoy that. Okay. Well, I think that goes through all my questions. Things are really scooting along here. So I'll be right up front with you. I'm here in the conference room, and we've been in meetings all day. And so I had to scoot everybody out about 20 minutes before I came on and get set up. I actually tripped over the laptop cord. But my laptop is still working, so thank you for being here. And we have guests here from SCHMETZ, Germany, and I invited them on, but I think they were more interested in food. So, but they do want to say thank you for using SCHMETZ needles, and I look forward to working with them even more. So let's scoot along. I want to walk you through all of our giveaways here today, our giveaway prize. And again, if you have just joined us, you can still partake in the giveaway. You need to answer in the Facebook chat below what are gift ideas for your sewing friends or yourself. So go ahead and put your answer in the chat, and I've got Paul in the other room, and he's been monitoring the answers. So if you're still typing out a reply, you could still be a winner. So let's look at our winnings today. I already mentioned the Shannon fabric. Now this one here is not a kit. This one actually is, this one can be used as a backing. This one measures 90 inches by 108 inches. Now, if you happen to watch Teresa on some of her Shannon Fabric lives on Facebook, last week she made bed sheets using this extra wide cuddle fabric. So I thought that was really interesting. So keep that in mind. This is 90 by 108 inches. And yes, I just want to continue to hug it. You know, I love cuddle fabric. All right. From our friend Tony at Quilt Tony, we've got the mermaid, the fantasy mermaid pattern, which is a lot of fun. And a lot of young people really like Quilt Tony patterns too. They have that kind of digital icon feel about them. Also, I mentioned Teresa at Shannon Fabrics, and she has her own pattern line now. This is the elemental coat, and she's which she uses quilts. And if you were with me live at the SCHMETZ Snippet in Houston last month, you got to meet Teresa and see her jacket. So Teresa has contributed her elemental coat. The name of her pattern line is Crinkle Dream. So you can go online and check that out. Yesterday, I just got the new travel guide. So if you're looking to take some trips next year and in the States, I don't think this is North America. I think this is the United States only. So this is the United States. So all the different quilt and yarn fabric shops are all listed in here, machine dealers. They've all been vetted, so we know that this is accurate information. Oh, and by the way, I have an ad in there. And here is the SCHMETZ black needle. See if I can get that up there. So that's what the package looks like. SCHMETZ black super fine needle. So you can, so anyway, the travel guide, the 2024 travel guide is included. And yeah, hot off the press. They just came yesterday. So I'm delighted to have these. From our friend Mary Malari. Yes, and I was sewing with Mary Malari just 2 weeks ago. So she provided this nice little kit here of the Viola reversible apron. So you've got the apron, but guess what? It also includes the fabric too. So isn't this fun? I love these colors. So somebody's going to have fun making aprons. Thank you, Mary. From Laura Koya of So Very Easy. I have her first two books. And let me see. Okay, the first two books. So she just came out. She just announced her new book last month when we were live in Houston at the SCHMETZ Snippet. So these are the first two, and then you can look at your local sewing machine dealer or go over to soveryeasy.com and find her new book, which is all about clamshells. And I haven't even seen her new book yet. I've seen the cover, but I do know that I've got a quilt that I made for her using her new clam technique. So you'll want to check that out too. From our friends at Threads Magazine, I've got a Threads issue, and I've got the McCall's Quilting and the Love of Quilting. And then I have an issue of What Women Create. And I always love these publications. And I'm not sure this is published anymore, but I still have some issues, and I consider them to be collector's items. From my friends at Taylor Saville, guess what? Don't we love these magic pins with the little cushioned heads? So these pins are heat resistant, and there are two different lengths. So thank you, Taylor Saville. From our friends over at Mettler Thread, I've got a whole box of Mettler Thread. So that's good. And this is the Seraflex thread. So this thread actually has some stretch. So if you're sewing on a knit, maybe you're working on swimsuit, or maybe you've got a knit fabric that has lycra or spandex, this Seraflex would be a great thread to use because it's got a little bit of stretch to it. Also, we've got the Grab It My Pad needle organizer. Everybody needs one of these to organize your slightly used needles. We've got some other Grab It products here. I've got the Bobbin Saver Square, both the regular size and the jumbo. And yes, I've included some mini Grab-Its. When I see these mini Grab-Its in this packaging, I always think this would just slide down into Santa's sock really cute. Don't you think? The Christmas stocking hanging on the mantelpiece or the shelf, and you could just drop one of these in. Anyway, I always think that's fun. All right, so let's see what we've got here too. Oh my goodness. Well, I've got a pack of all of the different project-driven needles. So there's 8 packs, a great variety of packs. This is the expanded bundle collection that you find at SCHMETZneedles.com. It comes with a little luggage tag and the ABC pocket guide. So lots going on here. And I just want to say thank you to everyone, every customer, every company that has contributed. Oh, and here's one other thing that just slipped aside. Our friends over at Clover. Our friends over at Clover have this fabric tube maker. So thank you, Clover, for that. Okay, so Paul has just slipped me the winner here. So, is there any other information I need to give you? It's been over 45 minutes, so I want to say thank you to each of you for being here. When I announce the winner's name, what you need to do to claim your prize is send an email to info@smetsneedles.com. So the question that had to be answered was, what are gift-giving ideas for your sewing friends or yourself? And the random winner is Jocelyn R.L. Welpe in Stockton, California. And Joycelyn said that she made some quilting design key fobs for her quilting friends. So well done, Joycelyn. Oh, there she is. Oh, and she also uses SCHMETZ, the best needle for freestanding lace. Yes. So, Joycelyn, you've won. And what you need to do is send an email with your shipping address to info@smetsneedles.com, and we'll get that information out to you. So, how many of you are still sewing for the Christmas or your holidays or Hanukkah? I'll just say holiday season in general. So I still have a project to do. Don't tell my dad, but I have a Shannon fabric kit, and I'm making him a cozy blankie made out of a buffalo, red and black buffalo plaid with the cuddle fabric on the back. So I think that will surprise him. He likes the color red. So, and he gets cold in the big sunroom. So I think that'll make him happy. He'll be cozy, comfy with a quilt made by me. So, okay. Well, I want to say thank you for being here today. I hope you all have a safe and healthy and joyous holiday season. There's so many holidays to enjoy. Whichever your preferred is, enjoy it with family and friends. And keep on sewing. Maybe you need to step away from all the craziness and just find some peace and joy with your sewing, or maybe you want to sew with friends. So there's lots of ways to sew. And again, thank you for SCHMETZ Needles. I will see you next month. I'll see you next year. Is that January 3rd? I don't even have my calendar in front of me. But stay safe and keep on sewing, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.